Good morning, my fellow Canadians. Somewhat belated Canada Day observation. My contempt for the mainstream media, I've gone on about that before. And why? It's not only that they lie. We see the effectiveness of that $600 million bribe that the Liberal Party gave to the mainstream media. And you watch the daily press briefings at the Harrington Lake cottage, the puff piece questions thrown at him, the little softballs that the moron can use and look in the camera and spew out word salad and garbage. No hard questions, no real reporters allowed on site, only the tame media. It's sad enough to watch the media, which used to be a reliable source of information for the Canadian people, to be basically now just a propaganda organ for the state. Think communism, anyone. One of the things that disturbs the hell out of me, and I saw this happen in the UK, it was the same thing. Tommy Robinson, if anybody's followed his story and what the British press has done to him and the government, because he is inconvenient and honest, he's a criminal in the UK. If you cut through all the rhetoric and all the bullshit, he's a criminal because what he has done is embarrass the government. Not because he lied, but because he told the truth. And this was inconvenient to the narrative, and so he's been pilloried, castigated, jailed, with the full compliance of the press and the police. So what you've got is a de facto dictatorship, totalitarian state in Britain. Well, here we were on Parliament Hill. Unfortunately, finances and other reasons I couldn't make it, but I was there in spirit. They call themselves patriots, but these are basically people who, like me, love this country and know that it's going down a bad path, want to reverse course, stop, recoup our energies, reassess where we are, and get back on track with Canada, Canadian values, the Canadian people. So they showed up at Parliament Hill. Literally thousands of them. Thousands. And I was watching. I wanted to see. None of the mainstream media said a word. Not one word about the thousands and thousands of patriots who showed up on Parliament Hill to protest the current government. And not a word. Because, of course, it conflicts with the Liberal narrative. Now, I brought up Tommy Robinson because I think it was Ezra Levant was there, who has been a staunch supporter of Tommy Robinson. And I think it was Sun News, unless I'm mistaken, said hundreds of supporters turned out for Tommy Robinson. And Levant said, well, wait a minute. There's thousands of people here. And the reporter, this is freaking beautiful. The reporter said, well, yes. Thousands are just many hundreds, right? Not thousands of supporters showed up, hundreds. And yes, thousands are many hundreds. Isn't that cute? The half-truth. Well, they didn't even bother to do that. They just did not mention it at all because it's a big black eye for the Liberal government. Now, these people showed up. And what were they protesting? These are staunch Canadians, people who, like me, truly love this country. And people who, like me, and hopefully you, are sick and tired of the Liberal lies, of the Liberal arrogance, Liberal corruption, the Liberals' lack of morality, the Liberals' lack of ethics, the Liberals' contempt for Canada, for Canadian values, for Canadian history, for Canadian culture, for Canadian seniors. People are tired, and there is a big groundswell. At this rally on Parliament Hill, there was even a big contingent from Quebec. Quebec, the Liberal stronghold. Quebecers are waking up also, saying enough. Enough of the lies, enough of the fracturing of this country, enough of fracturing us along ethnic lines, fracturing us along racial lines, fracturing us along geographic lines, the alienation of the West. Anybody who can read or follow independent media, not the liberal whores, the independent media, people who are speaking facts and truth, not opinions, facts and truth, exposing liberal corruption. More and more people are turning away from mainstream media and turning to independent media. True North, Freebird, Press for Truth. I don't agree with Dan Dixon across the board, but Rebel Media. So many groups are starting to speak out, and God bless Facebook as a platform, even though there has been a degree of censorship. If the Liberals had their way, they would shut it down completely. They want to make it criminal to criticize the government. Like, if that does not just scream totalitarianism, what does? Like I said, I wish I could have been there. I wish I'd have had the financial resources at, living on a pension. I wish I'd have had the financial resources to show up there and in support and stand with them. There were so many of them that even the counter protesters, Antifa and such like, didn't show up. If it had been a rally of maybe 40, 50, yeah, you'd have seen Antifa in force. But with thousands, so much for your certainty in your moral cause. As soon as you're outnumbered, you won't show up. And not because you were afraid of having violence offered to you, but because you would not be in a position to offer violence without it coming back at you in spades. So like cowardly dogs, Antifa will show up, and with their supporters and their shills, and the communists and everybody will show up when they know they have a numerical advantage. Because they know when they initiate violence, and they always do. They know if they initiate violence, they have the numbers to get away with it. Not this time. And so they were conspicuous by their absence. A truly moral person will stand up 1 against 1,000, secure in the knowledge of their morality and their factual, ethical stance. Now, I bring this up because it is heartening for me. Norm Traversy is using the law. He's an intelligent man. He's using the law, all legal means, to go after Trudeau and the Liberal government with our southern neighbors. And he's using the law and the terms of the treaty. This is going to get extremely interesting, folks. I mentioned in a previous post, if you don't know who Norm Traversy is, look him up and see what he's doing. And listen to the man. It's an eye-opener. Do I think the days of the Liberal domination of Canada are coming to a close? I can only pray. Just like what happened in Ontario, I would like to see happen in Canada. Unfortunately, the forces arrayed against conservatism, and not as a party, but Canadian conservatism, Canadian values, what they have arrayed against common sense and a return to a responsible government. They've got a bought and paid for media. You have a whole crop of ill-educated, brainwashed youth screaming moronic slogans with no comprehension of what they're saying because they've never been taught. You have the universities and the high schools cranking these people out. The trickle-down effect, the dumbing down of the population. I did the previous post about the fact we're not relevant. The new Nazism. They do have the children. And they're still trying to rig the vote. They're trying to do all kind of virtual citizenship. Are you kidding me? Giving the vote to people who've never earned it because they know they will vote Liberal. I did a post on vote rigging. I mean, look it up. My godfathers, what will it take? And there's just another example of Liberal corruption. This naked, avaricious, obscene lust for power. Not because it benefits Canada, but because they have an agenda. And they couldn't give a good rat's ass about Canada or Canadians. If you understand that, you understand the Liberal government. They're not doing what they do for Canada and Canadians. They're doing it. Is it a globalist agenda? I don't know. Is it a UN-propelled agenda? I don't know. Is George Soros pulling the strings? Conspiracy theories? Is it aliens from the planet Gazorton? I don't know. What I do know is they are destroying Canada. They are destroying the country I love. And they are marginalizing anybody who does love this country. Anybody who does appreciate what we were and the pride we had. I still have the pride in my country. I have nothing but contempt for the current government. But I still have pride in Canada and pride in Canadians. I'm seeing a shift in perception. Whoever it is can wait. So, my fellow Canadians, watch what's going on. Work towards this country. Get involved. Help out. If you can help out financially, help out financially. If you can help out physically, help out physically. If you can show up at rallies, show up at rallies. But help. Help us get Canada back on track. So to all my fellow Canadians, happy Canada Day. And let us hope, all of us, for a brighter future. Thank you.